Gaat-ie?
Ja, gaat prima.
Goed zo.
Gaat met jou?
Goed. Dit is ongelooflijk goed wat je gemaakt hebt. Oh, wacht even.
Ja, oh ja, de Blur Classic.
Deze. Als je hem indrukt, hier,
Oh ja, ja,
dan
leuk
gaat
hè.
hij. Zie je? En als je in de screensaver mode... Ja, ongelooflijk. We hebben geluk.
Ja,
Ik heb wel wat moeten veranderen. Ik heb een gat erin moeten snijden hier. Het is 2 millimeter te
yes.
hoog. En dat was het probleem, want de scherm was altijd tegen de
I think you
case
should
aan.
maybe English.
Oh,
Michael's
sorry,
now here,
yes.
so.
Getting too excited. No. Hi, Michael.
Hello.
You okay? I'm just
Hello, good
explaining
morning.
to...
Good morning, afternoon, evening.
Evening. I was just explaining I have to make a cut in the bottom.
Right. Well, I noticed that with Louis, he made that circular cut for the Geiger counter in the back of the case.
Yes. In the case. No, in the liner.
On the liner, yeah.
That's normal for the bGeigieZen Nano. They do that.
Okay.
To reduce the height. Then it doesn't touch. So
Right.
yeah, some people do that. And Joe has a special. It's very easy. You have to find the right steel can of coffee. You
Right.
cut it, and then you with a small vice, or no, how do you call it?
Razor.
Yeah, make it very sharp, and
Right.
then you turn it, and then it's perfect.
Okay.
It's a trick. I have an old spray can that I use for it, but there are many small issues that need to be resolved, but
Right.
this is one of them. But
So
I'm explaining to Jelle that if you have the screen like this, you press it, you activate. It's amazing.
that is amazing.
It's waterproof. You can drop it in the river, and it's still on, and you can switch it. The screensaver goes on and off. Wow, this is it.
Do survey in the water.
Thanks to Jelle and to N5 Stack.
Well, I guess
Yeah, it brings capacitive touch to a whole new level.
If you cut a hole in the back, maybe it's now then too low to activate that press.
No, I tried
Louis
it.
Has.
No,
Okay.
Okay.
That still works. But
Nice.
you can see I made already a test cut hole in there.
Mm-hmm.
But it's more stable if there's no hole.
Right.
It is more flatten out. And another ideas is to change the battery to small 18500 instead of the 650s. So we can lower the space here gets lower, so the tube can go down a little bit more, so we don't have
that would be nice.
with the edge.
Yeah.
Yeah. The 18500s, they are easily available. They're for cameras. They use them, and they only 2000 milliamp hour. But if we have two, it's good, because now it's kind of unstable here on this side.
Yeah.
This side. But if you have a battery behind it, it's very stable. Battery behind here and battery behind there.
Would it be able to do like horizontally like this too?
We can think about it. We can try that. It's a 500, so it should fit. It's a 65 millimeter. It's just too small for the standard 18650. But if you have a 500, maybe that will fit too. But then again, then you maybe don't have space for other things, like the iRover, if you want to use that. For the sleep poles could be, but we could the iRover fits on this side, so we could have two options to have mount two or one, two batteries. Then if you want to use an iRover, you can still use the iRover. You only mount one of the batteries. So it's an option, still possible. Because we have many.
What is iRover?
Oh, iRover is like a SafePulse. The SafePulse is a re-engineered version of the iRover. The
Oh, okay.
iRover is originally from Metcom, and Peter didn't like it that it was closed source, and sometimes they were not available and other things. So he decided that we should make something similar. It took a long time, and then suddenly Alan Lind, he how we call him, re-engineered it. He looked
Right.
at the schematics and he X-rayed the board, and he figured out how it was working. And
Cool.
then we made the SafePulse. It's recent, quite, I think a year we have it or something like that. And many small things I was doing, so but so slowly we're getting it together.
Right.
But today I had a kind of quiet day, so
Right.
I was outside
Oh,
roasting.
well, I was thinking of it. I think I know why we don't get video sometimes. Last week after I was showing you
Yes.
a demonstration, I noticed that on the top part of my Zoom meeting, it said, you know, do you accept this meeting being recorded? So up until that point, I don't think that the recording was happening because one of the participants didn't click
Oh,
on
that could be.
accepting the video being recorded. Do you
I
think
should
that's it?
check that. That could be. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I was always wondering why I'm having a blank sometimes.
Right.
Is it only on screen share then?
I'm not sure about that. There could be.
It might have been because I was sharing my screen. Yeah.
Yeah, it was exactly in that timing where you were sharing your screen and it disappeared.
Right.
Maybe Yella is right. Maybe it is like that. It's
I remember
understandable.
when I share my screen, it just has nothing. Like,
But
So
you have a special setup. Yeah, I think because you have also the automatically the transcript. I don't have that. I think not many people have that. You need a special
oh no,
account for that.
that's on Slack for some reason.
I
No.
wanted to show you something I found. I was looking at this. Why is there inconsistencies in button pressing? And I went to look at the Core 2 documentation and I highlighted it down here. Where is it? Oh, there it is. Some of the screen edges will have a touch nonlinearity problem, and you can try to use the M5 tool to upgrade the screen firmware to solve this problem. I don't know how old your Rob, I don't know how old your Core 2 version 1.0 is. I went and I looked at this tool software, and the last update to it was 2 years ago when they introduced the Core 2 AWS. And then I went and I downloaded, I uploaded to the Core 2 the factory test, and that has a nice feature in it. Hey, Louis.
Right. What is the
It
feature
has a
you
nice
found?
feature in it that shows you when you press the button, when you press on the screen, what the coordinate is. And it's obvious that on that boundary where the 3 red circles are, that there is nonlinearity in the placement of those. But I was actually able to improve the place by consistently touching over those red buttons and just seeing what the average is on X and Y. I was able to improve the locations based upon the firmware that's in my touch screen controller chip.
Interesting.
So I don't know. I think, we're trying to get some consistency across this.
Mhm.
It was an interesting test to do.
Yes, a very interesting find what you did. Did you change your code for it and put it on GitHub, the new version?
Yeah, the current
Okay.
version. I've been updating the documentation on GitHub for this whole thing. Let me just see. Let me just share this real quick, and then share this. Yeah, so that the 14 hours ago, I updated this.
Mhm.
You can see this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
See that.
So I put in how the navigation works for the menu.
Mm.
And then I put in some of the screens, and you see now I'm utilizing the whole screen. So that's receiver mode.
Nice.
That's
Wow.
logging mode, where the receiver information, the PVT information is compressed.
Mhm.
And it tells you how many total packets it's acquired, and how many are valid, meaning location, time, and date. And then the navsat mode, again, it's a sorted list. There are 8 healthy ones, and the top 6 are used for navigation in the order of signal strength.
And the
And then the
24s are
emulation mode,
tracked. I mean, what do you mean by tracking?
used for navigation. So that's if you look at satellite data for each
No, no,
satellite,
no.
it
I mean
tells you.
the tracking of 24. What do you mean with tracking?
Oh, that means that the total number of satellites that the module is tracking, it's looking at.
Looking at the table.
They may not be available, but they're in the they're in the receiver for potential use. So they age out, so they're still in that tracking. I didn't know what word to use. It's total satellites is what is the term they use, and I just said, well,
No, tracking makes more sense. It keeps track of
yeah.
them. Yeah.
And of the ones that it's tracking, 8 are healthy in this screenshot, and 6 are used for navigation. So the top 6 are show their signal strength. So 18, 10, 10. This is really weak. This is inside my house. 18, 10, 10, 10, 9, 8, and then and 7, and then you might see a bump up in the ones that are not used for navigation but are still healthy. So the last 2 here have a signal strength of 10 and 6 dB.
And
Right.
what
And
is
then
in the bottom? The bottom thing is
yeah,
what?
so right. So you have the top, this is the strongest satellite.
No, no, no.
Uh,
I mean here at the bottom, P1, L1,
oh yeah,
D1.
that's just debug information.
Oh,
So
okay.
that means the PVT packet is valid, that's the location is valid, the date is valid, and the time is valid. Here the packet is valid. Satellites are 24, healthy are 8, and used are 6.
You put that also on the GitHub, the explanation of that. That's very useful information.
No, I should do that. I should do that. And then the last mode is the emulation mode. It tells you, it gives you it tells you what the emulator state is, and what per second what packet it's outputting.
Wow, nice work.
Yeah, yeah. So it's
So in
very
that
safe.
emulator, in that emulator mode, is it just replaying what it's received in the past? Is that the idea?
Yeah, so you create a file, and you log a file, and then you can go and edit the file. The file is it's like navpvt .log, and you rename it to navpvt.emu, put it back on the SD card, and it'll replay it. It also, you can program how many, I'll go back to that mode.
You called it ENU?
EMU.
Emulate, EMU,
EMU.
and then it will replay that in a loop, and use the current time. It'll just keep incrementing the time. So it's modifying the packets after the first loop. It's modifying the packets by updating the time and redoing the checksum. All right.
That's great. Yeah, so we could use that with a pulse simulator as well in tandem, and get a really nice little test
Right.
bed.
Right.
Cool.
So if you're locked in a tiny room with artificial light, you could still output data. There he is.
Is the file that you have on the SD card, is it also on the GitHub?
Yeah, and actually that heart-shaped path that I took,
Mhm.
that
Yep.
is, as at your suggestion, Yella, that is the default. So you don't need an SD card to do, you could just
Oh,
use
okay.
that saved path. That's
Is it in the
already
firmware
stored with
then?
the program, yes.
Okay, that's cool. I'll try it.
But it will, if you have an SD card and it has that file name with .emu, which again, I need to document that part of it. It'll use the file off the SD card first.
Oh, nice. I will have a look tomorrow to it.
Okay.
And Louis, you okay? Doing fine?
Yeah, fine. I feel like I'm fairly disconnected from the whole process right now, because I'm basically, I attend the meeting, but I really haven't done anything. The ski racing season is finally over. That was yesterday, because that basically just eats up my whole weekend. By the time we get the gear in the car, get over the hill, do the thing, do a little bit of free skiing afterwards, get back, put the gear back in the car, from the car, and dry it out and put everything, maintenance, and have my weekend is shot. So, and so that's basically 2 out of 7 days just plus all my other stuff. So hopefully I have a little bit more time now, but I feel like I'm very disconnected with the whole development process, just because I've kind of went off into the weeds, and I'm just trying to figure out a way where I can sort of find a task that I can pick up on my own and run with, or you guys just delegate, like here's a little job, just go for it. I'm going to do some more measurements with the tandem setup. I am going to upload them.
I was waiting for the file to
Yeah.
check that, but I
Yeah,
don't
exactly.
think you were busy, so I was assuming that. So.
Yeah. So yeah. I've got a Core 2 V1.1 on order. I'm not too sure when that's going to come in. So when that comes in, I would very much like to play around with that power supply chip, the power management unit.
That would be good, and also to see if we can save power somewhere, because the screensaver, I know there's also they're using much less power, but I didn't do any measurements yet.
Yeah. Okay. So yes. So I'm putting a little ammeter in the way. That sounds like a good plan. Yeah, so that's basically where I'm at. Open to suggestions. I've also just finished, if you can look in behind, I've started reorganizing my office, which was in a storage bin while we were doing the renovation. So that's coming along. Got some decent soldering and instrumentation finally set up, so ready to go. Which finally,
I was also wondering that if you have time to check the with the spectrum analyzer in the lab that you mentioned last time, to the RF coming off. I really like to see that, so we can have some idea. I mean, I have an RF meter, but if you have a spectrum analyzer, that would be great.
Yeah. Well, if the break week is done, so if I'm back in classes tomorrow and Thursday, so I can certainly play around with that. I'm not too sure what to use for an antenna. The previous college I was at, we had a nice what are they called? It's a disc cone. I don't know if you're familiar with This cone is basically, it's a disc on top, right, or radials, and then a cone. And the idea is that it's basically a very, very broadband antenna, not terribly efficient, but
Right.
don't have access to that anymore. Although I can ask one of my buddies if it's still sitting in the somewhere in the corner. So
Yeah,
you're
that would
looking
be
for
great if
emissions
we-
from
Oh, go ahead.
you're looking for emissions from the core too,
Mhm.
and from the little charger.
Yeah.
Right.
Especially in the same bandwidth where the satellites are using,
Yeah. And
or
I guess
harmonics
also,
around that. That they could
oh
be
yeah,
used.
and the safe pulse as well.
Yeah.
Right, because that's
The safe
blasting
pulse
away
is
at,
quite low, I think. It's I mean, it's something
yes,
in the kilohertz or something. I think it's
yeah. But again, we're looking for harmonics.
Yeah.
So
mm,
not too sure. Okay, that'd be interesting.
that's great if you
Okay.
can have a look.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Now something interesting to do.
And Jelle, what have you been working or too busy?
Yeah,
or anything?
no, I've done some work, made some progress on the configuration
Hmm.
web page. So I got it
Oh,
running,
the setting page, you mean? Yeah.
the settings page, yeah. So on the config screen, I'm now made like a options menu where you can, well, I can't really show it because it just says option, option, option. I haven't filled it in yet, but
Mhm.
there are 4 options, which is basically like the normal main screen where you normally land, where you see the current settings. And then I have an option to start the config server with an access point. And then an option to start the config server when you're connected to the Wi-Fi. So you have both options available, as well as the option to reset the device and to load SD configuration or write SD configuration. So it's a small option menu that kind of looks like the main menu, but it's a bit different. Like
I was
we
wondering,
can decide on the design later, but
can we on that page we have oh no, maybe it doesn't need it. I mean, if we have the config server running, then we can set up many other parameters. Like for example, the timing for the screensaver and this kind of things if you want that, or you want to boot it up automatically in certain modes, or that we can do in the config server too.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I think the main configurations would be done like by connecting with the device, either through Wi-Fi or directly through Wi-Fi. So on a network, Wi-Fi network, or as an access point. So 2 options.
Yeah, that's nice.
And then on the, like when you run the server, there's a QR code where you
Yeah.
just scan it and you can go to the
Yeah.
page.
That's good.
Is the plan. Yeah, I got that running, but I have to make some finishing touches on like a first design at least, and then we can take a look at it, improve it. And then also for the page, like the web page, which you can access through the server. It's like the same looks as that we had before for the bGeigieCast. So not much difference. But we can do improvements on there as well. But I'll first get it running so you guys can see it as well.
Yep.
And
That's
try
good.
it out, stuff like that. Will be next week, I hope.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, up to you.
Yep.
But that's great. That's good to hear. There was something else I wanted to tell. No. There was something I wanted to ask you, Jelle, but I forgot. I should have written down it. Sorry. I have been busy with ordering parts and collecting and setting up things for the building and selling of the first production series. a lot of small things need to be organized and thought about, and also version 4 coming up afterwards. And but it's getting good, I think. And some money came in, so that's good.
All right.
Are there other things we have to discuss or want to discuss? No? Oh, I don't hear you, Louis. I saw you doing this, but didn't hear anything.
Yeah, no, I don't, can't think of anything right now. I'm just gonna catch up with all the discussion on Slack and see what else is going on.
Right. When I get that board that you sent me, I'll document the assembly instructions.
Oh, that
I
would
was
be
actually
great.
going to try to do a video, maybe attempt a video to see if that's a good way to go through the assembly. And then you guys can take a look at it, see if it's, I'll edit the video down after I go through all the steps.
Oh, that
And
would be very useful.
get some feedback from you guys.
That is for the bGeigieZen Nano and video, how to do that.
Oh yeah.
You have seen that? Because then maybe
No.
that's a good idea how somebody else had done it. So we can.
All right, I'll look it up. Yeah.
I think it's available in YouTube, but I'm not sure. So I have to check with Joe. I think Joe made it.
Okay.
That would be very, very useful to get that good documented.
Right.
And still a work in progress because Peter want to have the backside, some logo and other things on it. So we're working on that, Peter and me.
Right.
And maybe more information about Safecast, so people can see directly which device is from, and QR code also in the back, this kind of things.
Sounds good.
Yep. Thank you.
Anything else?
No, for me. I had a wonderful day outside, and I was roasting potatoes. So sometimes I do that, and eating with mayonnaise.
Nice.
Made my fire and good. It was
Sounds like fun.
weather.
Weather's not quite good enough around here yet to do that.
Yes, I can imagine it. I mean, you're still in the snow.
Well, it's just no, it's just gray and wet. It's really depressing.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have a great week, everyone.
Yep.
Yep.
Thank you. And
Yep.
next week, I'm looking forward to
Yep.
next week. Okay. Thanks for
Okay.
joining
All right.
everybody. Okay.
Yes,
Have a nice
thank
day
you.
as well.
Yeah.
You
Take
too.
care.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.